Everybody loves a good theory. That's why you've got at least one friend who thinks taking homemade Bush did 9/11 signs to sporting events is hilarious. But no TV show's quite got the tinfoil hatted amongst us so excited as Game of Thrones. After finally getting a resolution to literally years of R plus L equals J speculation, we now know that theories are only as warped and weird as George R.R. Martin's mind. And I mean, look at that face, there's some messy shit going on in there. Anyway, with season 7 so close you can pretty much smell the blood, let's take a terrifying stroll down to the speculation station and get freaky in the toilets. I'm Adam from Whatculture. No, the other one. Yep. Yes, there we are. That one from Whatculture.com, and these are 10 huge Game of Thrones theories that could come true in season 7. Number 10, Gendry return.
Oh shit! Sorry, man. Are you filming?
Yeah, I'm just recording something.
Oh yeah. Could see my phone.
Oh.
What are you doing?
The Game of Thrones season 7 theories.
You could call it Cleary's theories. Bye.
Number 10, Gendry returns. We'll start this off relatively modestly and I'll keep it entirely 100 with you here, it's going to get a little bit wild near the end, but cast your mind back to season 3 and the harrowing sight of a terrified Gendry being smuggled out of Dragonstone. Well, actor Joe Dempsey's been spotted in and around the filming locations for season 7, and given that old George chose not to have him killed in the show, bear in mind he really likes having people killed in the show, there's every chance he kept him alive for a reason. What that reason is anybody's guess, but given that Sam's up at the Citadel being a big old nerd and learning things, it's probably something to do with Valyrian steel, with young Gendry being just the blacksmith to make it. Number 9, Greyjoy controls a dragon. Euron Greyjoy is a fairly new addition to the power struggle in Westeros, but it's likely he'll be a major player in season 7. He's made his intentions pretty clear in the show, and we've already seen his ships heading to King's Landing in the trailer. But when his complex plan of just wife Daenerys fails, it's almost certainly going to come to blows. It's not been mentioned in the series yet, but a trinket of his in the books is Dragonbinder, a horn he picked up on his travels that allows the holder to take control of a dragon, potentially turning it against Daenerys' own army. I mean, show me someone who doesn't want to see dragons fighting each other and I will show you a fucking liar. Number 8, Cersei goes full Mad Queen. Cersei's story is probably one of the most fascinating in the entire show, as we've seen her go from incestuous adulteress to conniving politician to tortured subject to repeatedly bereaved mother to murdering despot, and I want to stress I'm not a doctor here, that probably takes a toll on you. She's now isolated, evil, doesn't mind playing with wildfire, entirely surrounded by her enemies, and will do anything to hold on to power. The parallels between herself and Aerys Targaryen, lovingly referred to as the Mad King, are now about as subtle as a gynecologist wearing a gas mask. That's of course the same Mad King who was killed by a certain Jaime Lannister, who's currently watching Cersei's harrowing descent through his hand. Number 7, Bran the Builder. Just to recap for you, Bran, in the present, warged himself into Hodor in the past and managed to scar his mind. The can of worms this opened is so big that it can be seen from space. Now that we know that Bran not only has the ability to telepathically travel through time, but to dramatically influence things while he's there, the theory goes that he's not just this Bran in the present, but every single Bran in the past as well. That would mean he's Uncle Brandon, and probably responsible for his death, Bran the Breaker, who defeated the Night's King, and of course Bran the Builder, the founder of House Stark and the man credited with building the wall. Oh, and for an added twist, let's not forget that the aforementioned Mad King has been cropping up in Bran's visions as well, meaning his infamous Burn Them All episode looks very familiar, doesn't it, Hodor? Number 6, something involving Quaithe. Now, no rundown of Thrones theories would be complete without a nod to Quaithe, and if it turns out she's just there to give us all something to pointlessly speculate over, I am going to do actual murders. Now, over time it's been theorised that she's a spy, a witch, a member of the King's Guard, one of Aegon IV's heirs, and my personal favourite, literally Daenerys herself travelling back in time to warn her through incredibly cryptic riddles. Now, watertight ideas, all of them, but for season 7 we've got a simpler theory. See that copper BDSM number she's absolutely rocking? Well, rumour has it it's there to disguise the fact she's riddled with grayscale and she's going to do Jorah the service of curing him. But, I mean, who knows at this stage? She's probably something absolutely ridiculous like an alien or an American accent. Number 5, Tyrion Lannister is actually a Targaryen. Trying to explain family lineage and thrones is pretty grotty. I mean, everybody's convinced we're going to see Jon and Dany go at it eventually, and they are literally aunt and nephew to each other. But this one's messy even by those standards. So the idea goes that Aerys Targaryen, yes, the Mad King again, was in some way involved with Tywin Lannister's wife Joanna. The result of this was Tyrion, which goes some way to explaining why Tywin hated him so much. It would go slightly against what's been in the books, but the TV show has dropped a few hints towards this, namely,
"You're no son of mine."
And of course, making him a Targaryen would lead us nicely into this next point. Number 4, the three-headed dragon. So, according to Rhaegar Targaryen, during Daenerys' vision in the House of the Undying, the dragon has 3 heads. And we're all pretty much in agreement that this means there will be 3 dragon riders, right? Right? Yes? Brilliant. Now, we've already seen Daenerys ride 1, and the 2 most likely accomplices at this stage look to be Tyrion and Jon Snow. Now, the main reason for this is because there are so many parallels between the trio. There's the connection with their dead mothers, the killing of the person they loved, as well as simultaneously being of noble lineage while at some point being outcasts. Jon's a Stark bastard, Tyrion's a Lannister dwarf, Daenerys is a Targaryen exile, and as the 3 main characters of the show so far, it makes almost perfect sense to bring them together this way. Number 3, Clegane Bowl. Hang on, where's that klaxon? Aha. Clegane Bowl! No, seriously, this can still happen. It's been teased to death in the books, and the show's even occasionally flashed us a cheeky bit of ankle on the subject, but if it's ever coming, it's coming in Season 7. If you're new to the term Clegane Bowl, it just simply refers to the monumental, ball-shattering, spit, sweat and blood death match that would occur if the Clegane brothers, or the Hound and the Mountain as their mother presumably calls them, ever fought. Now, the Mountain is currently working as the almost undead bodyguard of Cersei, but the Hound is currently teamed up with the Brotherhood Without Banners, a group who are, if your battered mind will allow you to remember Season 1, still technically under orders from Ned Stark to execute the Mountain. Oh, and speaking of Ned, number 2, Ned Stark isn't dead. Yes, I did promise this would get silly eventually, but this is brilliant, so just, sit down for a second. Okay, so we've seen Ned Stark die, and again, not a doctor, but beheadings are usually permanent. However, there's an idea doing the rounds that what we actually saw was one of the faceless men taking his place after deciding he was too important to die? Maybe? Yeah, okay, it sounds ridiculous, but supporting this, we have descriptions in the book of both Sansa and Arya saying that their father didn't quite look the same, even when he was both on the block and on the pike. We've also got the fact that Jaqen H'ghar, a literal master of disguise, was just somehow locked up in King's Landing at the same time. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that he could have crossed paths with Ned. The theory goes on to suggest that Ned's since been shacked up with the Faceless Men, paying off his debt to them, and helps explain why Arya's been so drawn to the group. Yes, I know it's ridiculous, but come on, it makes more sense than the one that says he walked into a pigeon at the moment of his death, and he spent 5 seasons flapping around King's Landing trying to shit on the Lannisters. Number 1, Daenerys is actually the villain. While it looks certain that Dany and Jon are destined to save the world together, either as aunt or nephew or, an incestuous couple, there have been signs that she might end up actually being the show's real evil. Think about it. For every slave she's freed, she's conquered someone else. For every life she's spared, someone has died. She's given into rage, delivered huge speeches that promote violence, and in the words of her family, is prepared to take what is hers with fire and blood. There's a well-trodden path of Targaryens descending into madness under the crushing weight of power, and there is more than a suggestion that Dany is already on it. Sure, most of the time we sympathise with her, but the longer Thrones has gone on, the more ruthless she's become. Even the very thing driving it is an obsession with claiming the Iron Throne, not because she thinks she's some saviour for Westeros, but because she genuinely believes it's her birthright. Ultimately, George R.R. Martin has loved subverting expectations throughout Game of Thrones, and Dany being the real villain would be the biggest subversion of all. So, that's our list. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and do feel free to pull out all the tiny minutiae in the comments that prove none of these can ever actually happen, you bad nerd. I've been Adam from Whatculture.com, and I'll see you soon.